How about like over the last few months, guys? We were in Toronto 2 months ago, right before Chayka and Sundin were being unveiled, and man, temperatures were running hot in Leafs Nation. But John Chayka over the last few weeks has done a pretty tidy piece of business. Look, he inherited the first overall pick, which worked out pretty well with Gavin McKenna. But look at this, what they've done, like adding Sergei Bobrovsky, Colton Sissons, Teddy Bluger, Jack Roslovic, Nick Paul, Zach McEwen. Look, they got deeper, they got heavier. I guess the question is, how much better are they with goaltending with a guy who's a future Hall of Famer Razor, but at 3 years, I think a lot of people wonder about this contract. What is Bob at this stage?
Well, Bob wasn't great last year, and you hope that was because of Florida and the situation. You can get a little bit closer to that Stanley Cup thing. So you have the Stanley Cup duo. You have Stolarz. You got to imagine he's still going to want to play more games than he did last time he played with Bobrovsky. I like it for a year or two. I think what the Leafs have done and John Chayka has done, and we got our Joe Bowen episode coming out later this week, and he was beside himself a couple months ago, to your point, right, Seaball? Like, no one knew what was going to happen. I think what they've done, what Chayka's done, what Mats has done is made this team respectable again, at least on paper. Compared to what the season-ending roster was to what it is now, the thing's respectable. I'm not sold on their back end. I'm not sold on their moves on the back end and what that really does for them going forward to win. But they're respectable. They're going to be. They're not going to just lose games over and over and over again, especially on home ice with the forwards and the goaltending that they have now. So in that respect, I like the Bobrovsky signing because you had to do something there in Toronto to stabilize everything.
Yeah, I don't. Yeah, the Bobrovsky. Sorry, without pulling his stats up, and I know he is a future Hall of Fame goalie. Don't get me wrong; he's had an incredible career. I'm not ripping on Sergei Bobrovsky, but at the same time, I feel like before they went on those runs to the finals and won a couple cups, like Sergei Bobrovsky, we went from Columbus to Florida, right?
For 4 or 5 years.
He wasn't great at all. And then that happened, and he played great in the playoffs, and he so it's all worked out, and Florida's happy. But yeah, I don't know. I agree. I think Toronto had to do something, so I don't hate it in that regard at all. But I don't know. I'm not totally sold.
We're not picking them to win the Eastern Conference, is what we're saying, right, Commie?
Yeah,
it's not putting them over the top. Although,
Commie, we are seeing this is a Russian not going to Florida or New York, so that's a change.
That's true. Hey, maybe Russians love Toronto now.
There you go.
Maybe they're switching it up. Yeah,
what? While we have a moment just on the Leafs, there's still a lot of speculation about trading a guy like Morgan Rielly. It's going to give Morgan Rielly some love here for, I think, a lot of people waiting. Oh, what's the trade going to look like? Here's a guy who's been with that organization close to 15 years. Right? Coming up on almost 1,000 games in the National Hockey League, and to do that all in Toronto, to go through the really lousy times before they kind of broke on through, a guy who always seems to play bigger in the playoffs. I don't know, man. Like, at times it feels like Morgan Rielly grossly underappreciated sometimes in the moment. And Razor, as a guy who's played in that market, that's not an easy feat to do, to get 14 years or a decade and a half to play in that market.
No, he's getting the Brian McCabe treatment or the Larry Murphy treatment now, where he's just been there too long and it's just easy to go to him every time. Yeah. Instead of changing, now it's just him all the time. Like, Caber was the same way. The greatest teammate, loved being a Leaf, would do anything. We had Tiger Williams on talking about winning for the crest. Like, Rielly and McCabe, these are the guys that do that, but they also somehow become the whipping boys from the fans. And that's what's hard to explain about the Toronto market, but that's exactly where Rielly's at. And, he's going to be, if he does go somewhere else, it'll be a Darnell Nurse situation where he's probably going to feel pretty good about it when he gets the hell out.
Okay, Commie, I got to throw this over to you now with the Oilers, because that's a perfect segue.
That is a perfect segue.
What a week for the Oil. How about they move on from Darnell Nurse, and there is no salary retention on that 9.25. They bring back Kasperi Kapanen. They lock up Ryan Shea. Another late bloomer here who's getting paid with a 5 years times with a $4 million AAV. And they also bring in Stanley Cup champion Freddie Anderson between the pipes. What do you make of what's happening in oil country just north of where you're hanging and banging right now?
I mean, I will say that, I'm hearing a lot about the old Oilers around here.
Really?
Yeah, I mean, I don't know a whole lot about Shea, but they have made some good moves. I can't. Look, I'm probably going to spend most of this year just absolutely torching the Oilers, but I'm trying to be fair about this too. So I don't want to sit here, and I'm not a huge fan of Stan Bowman right now, but I will say I like what San Jose has been doing as well. Like, I'm not ripping on them either, but I cannot believe they got rid of Darnell Nurse and didn't retain any money. To me, that's crazy. Like, I think. And he's got what, 4 more years left at 9.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
It's not a year.
I mean, like I said, and I think Darnell has gotten better over the last couple of years, and I've eased off. He's stayed on his feet. He's not sliding around like a Zamboni. Like, he's better. But I'm like, and I know San Jose needs like penalty killers and stuff like that. But I'm like, 9.25. You're eating the whole thing for the next 4 years. Like, anyway. So I guess I'm not with the Sharks on this one. And I guess I kind of got to say, I mean, Bowman did. If somebody would have told me the Edmonton Oilers were going to trade Darnell and not have to retain anything, I would have said there's no chance. There's no way that's going to happen. So I got to give kudos to old Bowman on that move.
Yeah,
and good for Darnell too. To be honest,
it'll be so much better for him there. Like, he'll be a better player. He really will.
Yeah, good for
maybe
Darnell.
Not for 9, but he'll be a better player.
Right. Yeah. Hey, you know what? Like I said, I've ripped on him, but he has gotten better. Hey, look, at the end of the day, friend of the show, Ken Holland, Darnell didn't walk into Ken's office with a mask on and a gun and hold him up for,
they gave
for
it to
8
him.
years. They gave it to him, right? So it's so good for him. So I would think kind of a little bit like the Rielly thing, he's been sitting in Edmonton. He's taken some grenades, and deservedly so, sometimes for sure. So I'm thinking, go to San Jose, you'll be able to go to the grocery store there, Darnell, and it don't matter if you're -5 that night. Nobody's going to be telling you you're shitty as you're trying to buy a steak or something. So it'll probably be a nice change for him too.
Yeah, I think it's a fresh start. It's a tidy piece of business for what Oilers management has done, and especially given the PR backlash that they have dealt with. Just on a side note, Kami, we were kind of chatting about this, and I didn't want to go down all of it. Don't leave it in the green room, as we like to say sometimes. But what has been the reaction? What's it been like for you just personally? You're in Alberta again here. I mean, I'll say this, even I'm a middle-aged dude. And so it's not like I am a high desirable follow on social media like Instagram at this stage of my life. And yet, man, I'm picking up a ton of followers through our podcast there lately. So
Dudes,
I can only imagine what you're getting.
Dudes.
Of course.
Oh. Yep. Oh yeah.
Yes.
Oh,
Yes.
if you
My
look
wife
at
appreciates that. Yes.
Like it's on the Instagram thing, and you can kind of click on the insights, and it breaks it down to where your followers, where they live, and what gender they are.
Well, I'm not creeping that much.
Oh, well, yeah, it breaks it down like a whole bunch. Yeah. It's actually kind of interesting, and I've only looked a couple times. Yeah. Last time I looked, I'm clicking at, I got 30,000 followers. It's 98.6% dudes. Yeah.
I'm also getting word for all of our followers here that continue to enjoy the show and love following Kami on the various social media channels. Our producer, Stu Stone, says Kami will be starting an OnlyFans site very soon.
That's a good way to lose all my followers.
He's a man's man, people.